All right, this is Dr. Jason Hahn with HealthFit Physical Therapy and Chiropractic. I'm interviewing a really good buddy of mine, JB Fitz. He's the owner of CrossFit Crown City over here in Pasadena, and I wanted to take an opportunity to just to interview him a little bit, show him off to our entire clientele, talk about all the cool things he's doing over at Crown City. And recently he was it ABC News?
Recently, ABC News, man. It was really exciting for
All
us.
right, so he's pretty big time now. But
Yeah.
so JB, how many years have we known each other now?
I believe we've known each other for 5 years. You think 5 years, maybe 7 years?
Yeah, before we opened this location at HealthFit.
Before you opened that location, before
Right.
I owned Crown City, when I was just a CrossFit member or athlete. So it was quite a while.
Yeah, we've had a good relationship, and a lot of our clients, they work out over at Crown City. Some of their clients come over here for if they need any rehab work. So it's been a really good relationship. So JB, why don't you take a little time and just introduce yourself? Tell me a little bit more our audience a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. So Pasadena resident for the last 22 years. Actually went to Art Center College of Design here in Pasadena. Got my degree in photography. Spent, I think, 18 years working in photography. Before I joined a CrossFit gym and decided that I wanted to quit photography after I had 2 degrees in it and 18 years experience, decided that I wanted to own a CrossFit gym instead. No logic behind it, no sound reasoning, just wanted to. So I did it. So I became a coach. I bought the other owner out and I took over the gym. So I'm here now in Pasadena. I own CrossFit Crown City. The gym's been around for over 8 years. It's the longest running CrossFit affiliate in Pasadena. And we have a staff of about 11 coaches and a couple of administrators. It's been a great transition for us. A great transition for me personally.
Right. Because I remember when we first met, like you said, you were a member, you're an athlete, but your job was photography, and you showed me some of your work, and you made decent money doing that, So what can you tell me about, like, what inspires you in photography? Obviously, like, you look at how beautiful your gym is, you look at the social media that you do, like, how do you actually marry those two skills together?
That's a good question. I may not be able to answer that. There are some skills that transfer. Of course, the aesthetics apply, like having a nice, clean, well-designed facility, arranging your artwork in the same sense of how you view the landscape. So there's probably some transition there, but I think the biggest one is empathy. As a photographer, as an artist, empathy is probably the number one skill set. You're trying to create work that other people can relate to. So you need to be able to live in their shoes a little bit. When you're a business leader like you are, Jason, or I am, or you're a coach, empathy is probably the number one skill to have as well. I need to be able to understand where my members are coming from, their pain points, their struggles. I need to understand those same things with my coaches so that I can motivate them and help to lead them. So I think empathy is the number one skill that I developed as a photographer that translates into my career as a gym owner and a coach.
That's a really good insight. It's like, again, I don't know many artists, but there's something about their work that kind of captures you. And then you, like me, I'm the lay person, but there's something about it. And then we don't know how to pinpoint what that is.
No, but that's the goal, right? Like, we're
Right.
not trying to make work that just lives in our living room and for us to see. Like, you always say, oh, make work for yourself, but it's not like that. Like, you're making work to speak to an audience, right? So
Right.
you have to be able to empathize with that audience.
Really great point. So when you transitioned over to fitness, or
Yes.
you're always into fitness, but what made you make that decision to actually, okay, I'm going to buy out this gym. I'm going to run this. I'm going to run this thing.
You know what? That was a bad decision. It's worked out well. But if we were going to be honest, I should have done a little more due diligence and been a little more, just spent a little more time pondering that. I just dove in. I tend to dive in and just go for it. Like some people, they work in a way where, they write the whole book and then they come up with the title. And other people like myself, we write the title and then we build the book afterwards. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna own the gym, and then I'll just figure out what it's like to own a gym. And like I wasn't even a good coach. Like, I wasn't even a good. I mean, being very honest, there's a lot of growth that's happened, and I feel confident today. But I wasn't a good leader. I wasn't a good coach when I took over. I had some faith that I could become one.
Yeah, well, I think in a lot of ways, the most important thing is the passion for it, right? Because as in any profession, I'm a physical therapist, and in school, we're taught how to be a physical therapist. We're not taught how to be a business owner. We don't know about finances. We don't know about marketing. We don't know about leadership.
Crazy, right?
But doers do. And sooner or later, they figure it out. And it's amazing what you've done with Crown City and your clientele, because you talk about empathy for them. And can you talk a little bit more about like what kind of impact you want to make on that community? And then you can even, why don't you bridge a little into this COVID-19 thing and the struggles of not being able to have them in the gym? Like, how does it impact our health and our community?
Yeah, definitely. I just want to circle back real quick. I would say the other key though, and this might be like my only martial arts reference ever. I don't know any martial arts like you do. So I think it's that white belt mentality though, right? Like we're always learning. So you came out of your PT school, but you still have that mindset to always learn and always be humble and recognize what you don't know and see those spots and fill them in. I come to you for advice. You talk to me. And we have our peer group and our network, and we learn from them. So,
absolutely.
As far as so impact on what type of impact I want to have on my community, and maybe how that's being adversely affected during this time with COVID-19. Is that the question?
Yeah, that's better. Well asked than me. So,
well, would it be fair to say that I almost want to sneak fitness in, right? Like I want to have people live healthier, better quality of life, right? That's what I want. Mm-hmm. Do I want that to be a struggle? No, I want to make that as easy and enjoyable as possible. So how many barriers or how many difficulties can I move out of the way to allow people to become the healthiest and fittest versions of themselves? Like that's what I want to do, right? So when you come to my gym, I want you to feel like you are seen. I want someone to say your name at least 3 times so that you feel like you are recognized as a person. That's a huge thing to me. Like how many times do people have jobs where they get like no recognition all day? They're just grinding away. They're working all day and no one says, "Hey, Jason, did a really good job on that, man." Mm-hmm. Like, thank you. And I want to be that person. Right. So we build in this like positive sort of reward system. You come into the gym, you work out, but guess what? Afterwards, I'm gonna come to you. I'm gonna look you in the eye. I'm gonna say, "Hey, Jason, you really did well today, man. You really looked good on those thrusters. Like I could tell you're improving. Like I saw that."
Right.
So that's what I want the experience to be. That's the impact. That's the difficulty in COVID-19, right? Like how do I still get those personal touches in this remote coaching phase now? And it's a struggle, right? So I know through leadership classes that my communication has to be tenfold what it normally would, because now you and I aren't passing each other on the way to the water fountain, and I'm not picking up on any of your body language or any of the nuances of being around you. So now I have to communicate 10 times as much as I think I would to make up for that. It feels like over communication on my part, but I know it's not. It's just the role that we have to do when we're running a remote business now. It's really difficult.
You make some great points, like going back to, again, it's weird saying when you had classes, right? It's not long ago, but it seems like a long time ago. And one of the biggest things that I admired about your box was that you had that personal attention. You, your clients or your athletes weren't just kind of following whatever was on the board. There was actually coaching going on. You know, we talk about that a lot. It's like you can yell, it's like, keep going, keep going, keep going. Or you can actually come over and say, hey, you know, why don't you fix this a little bit? Why don't you do a little corrections? And that's why we like working with your athletes. We like sending people to your box because we know they're going to be taken care of. And we're all about like movement quality and making sure you're doing things the right way. And there are tons of boxes out there that, or gyms or workout facilities that do not take that time to look at those things. And then this is one thing that I've really admired about your place. And then going on to now you're doing remote coaching, you're doing like a lot more online classes. I've seen a couple of them and it's like, it's pretty cool seeing a full screen of people doing the WOD. So, you know, you definitely have a connection with your community.
It's very cool. I mean, I think we didn't come up with this phrase, but I took the staff, we went to a seminar last year, and the Logan from Deuce brought up the point, do you want to be a gym that hosts workouts or coach workouts, right? Like we don't want to host. Like we're not here to set the clock and cheer you on. Like
Right.
we want to coach. Like that is where the value is. It's in the coaching. Like you can go anywhere. You can buy your own timer. So if we're not coaching, we're not doing our job. And the staff has done a really good job embracing it. Head coach Dex has done a great job of leading the team through that. And we have buy-in there. So it's really great.
Awesome. I know you said in your interview on the news, but can you talk a little bit more about just how important it is to be active nowadays? Because it's all about, and I just did an email to my list today saying like, let's just stop worrying about the mask, right? It's just basically, yeah, we have a mask, which is essentially a Band-Aid. It creates a barrier, but it does not correct the underlying like comorbidities that put people at risk of mortality. So you spoke about like exercise, fitness, stress. Can you talk a little bit more about that stuff?
Well, we know these underlying conditions lead to an increase in the mortality rate of COVID-19, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
It's really simple. If we don't address these, right, we have a much unhealthier community and people are at much more risk. So it's not a very complicated thing. People still need to move. People need to get exercise more so now than ever. I think if we could learn some things coming out of this, it would be to practice better sanitation and maybe to live healthier lifestyles overall. Like there could be some underlying things that we could take away that could be very positive moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's important. So at least at our place, we see both ends of the spectrum when it comes to exercise. Right now that people are in the pandemic, they either do nothing or they overdo it.
Yes.
Right. And then so the problem is the middle ground is there's not enough coaching. Yeah. There's not enough of leadership in the way. So like, I think it's important for places like Crown City, not only when you open your doors, but like even now. So like even like from a remote coaching standpoint or joining your online classes, I think it's a huge thing. And I'm a big proponent of, you get what you pay for.
Yes.
Right. If all you do is try to look at YouTube things online and this is free, this is free, this is free, it's not geared towards you. So it's basically you're throwing a dart and then you're trying to hit a bullseye, but the chances of you hitting that bullseye are slim and none, pretty much.
I think that in your profession, that's even more dangerous. Everyone is like Dr. Google right away, and they come to you with all of their, I have piriformis, Jason. Yeah, I've got piriformis because I know I have piriformis because I do, because I read it. And it's like the amount you deal with that's more specific to your industry. It's applicable to us as well. But man, you get the brunt of that. I feel bad for all doctors in this age.
Yeah, there's always they know better than us in a sense, but I think if, like you said earlier on, it's all about empathy, and it's empathy and putting yourself in their situation, but also taking the time to have a conversation and looking at the big picture. Because it's easy enough to say, oh, you have piriformis syndrome or whatever, but like, okay, what are you doing throughout the day? Are you sitting down and watching Netflix all day now? Or
Yeah.
are you probably JB and doing 1,000 lunges a day, overhead, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm like, okay, so like, and it's two different spectrums, but I won't know how to tackle that issue until I get a full picture. Just like you guys, and when you guys onboard your clients, like you guys have some type of onboarding process for new clients, right? How does that work?
Of course. So if you came into the gym, you would go through 5 personal training sessions start. So we would go over fundamental movements, and then we would do a review in the 5th session. So 4 sessions of fundamental movements, working out, sort of getting you up to speed with how we operate as a gym, how classes run, and a lot of active listening, right? Like that's like the thing. A lot of active listening. So hearing what you want to get out of this, what your goals are, understanding why those are your goals, what are the barriers that kept you from attacking those goals earlier. Yeah, a lot of listening. Coaching is a lot of listening, I guess, right?
Right. And then I'll stress that you guys take the time to teach those fundamental movements, because from the outside, um, some people might think, oh, they're doing these exercises, they're too hard for them. And I was like, no, like Crown City takes the time to make sure that you're able to do them correctly. And let's say something is too hard or you don't have the mobility, you guys do a great job of regressing them to a point where which fits their fitness level. Let's just say that.
Yeah, right. It's semi-private training. So it's a group class, but it's semi-private training. Everyone in there, we've got 12 people in class and they could all be doing 12 different things.
Right.
Where they're all going to get the same stimulus. But we have a 25-year-old athlete right now that can't put his arms above 45 degrees. I mean, the shoulder limitation, the range of motion is so limited. He can't go overhead. It's just too dangerous.
Right.
So, and everyone in the gym has their things. Like I've got my things. We all have our little things, our little nuances, our problem points that we're working around. So yes, everything is scaled for the individual member.
Because even within your program, you have a weightlifting program, you have like your general classes. Like what kind of other ways are you able to segment for specific populations?
No, so we have our CrossFit is our core offering. We have weightlifting. We have Power Hour, which is a hypertrophy strength building class. Mm-hmm. We have yoga. We have CrossFit teens. We have CrossFit kids for younger kids. We have Quick Fit for people that are not comfortable with some of the more complicated gymnastic movements or the barbell. So there's a lot more dumbbells and kettlebells, very simple movements so that the skill is never the limiting factor. It becomes a work capacity becomes a limiting factor, right? We don't want the skill of the movement to make you stop doing the workout. We want you to be fatigued from strength or aerobic capacity.
Right. And I think, again, it's super important that it's not a one size fits all kind of facility that you run. It's, it's geared towards the individual, where they are as far as from a fitness standpoint, a body standpoint, so you've kind of hit so many areas for everyone that we've kind of sent over to you. So I really appreciate what you've done.
The referrals.
So let's I'm gonna ask you 2 or 3 questions personally about you.
Okay, hold on one second. I'm gonna let this dog out of this house, man.
Okay.
Interview to do this, but
hey, this is real life,
The dog is only gonna get louder there in the background if I don't open that door. Okay.
All right.
Personal questions. Now I get nervous. Okay, let's go.
For JB, if you could turn back time and talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell him or her, or tell yourself?
Okay, now you're getting tough questions on me. No, you know what? I think things have worked out really well. Like wouldn't go back. I probably could have done things a lot better earlier and started on this path quicker, but all of those bad decisions helped me to get to where I am today. Right. Like
Yeah.
I have some really okay, it was a bad analogy, but we go, I have some really bad tattoos, like really dumb, like tribal tattoos, right? I'm like, I'm not a member of any tribe, zero tribe.
I
Um,
do too. I
but
covered it.
yeah, this is the thing, right? Like I won't cover it because that dumb tattoo I have reminds me of how dumb I was at that point and how
Mhm.
far I've come from them. So like it is what it is.
Right.
And I wouldn't change a thing.
Got it. Um, if you could have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, who would they be and why?
That's tough. Martin Luther King,
Okay.
Gandhi.
Wow, you're deep. You're a photographer.
My dad has passed, so I would like to have dinner with my dad. So my dad, Martin Luther King, and Gandhi, we could all sit down. I don't know, I don't know how well that would work out, but it would be interesting.
Yeah, that shows a lot of your human side besides all those muscles you have.
Well,
And, I
we're
appreciate
talking about like the greater self-sacrificing leaders. That would be awe-inspiring.
Awesome. All right. So, where can our listeners connect with you or find out a little bit more about Crown City?
Sure, they could follow our Facebook page, CrossFit Crown City. They could follow us on Instagram, which is at CrossFit Crown City as well. And I think those are probably the 2 best platforms to find us. We're on YouTube as well. Everything's under the gym's name everywhere you look. And if you're in the Pasadena area, you can always come by. We are a no pressure sales place. If you just ever want to come by and check out the gym, look at the gym, talk to someone at the gym, I will tell you if the gym is good for you or not. I don't think it is, or you don't think it is, I will help you find a better gym.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's a beautiful facility if you've never been there. And,
Yeah, we lucked out. We have a beautiful gym. Very fortunate to have that.
so, all right, JB, I appreciate you taking the time.
Of course, Jason, thanks for having me, man. I hope you're well. Hope the family's doing well, and thank you for doing this.
No problem, man. We'll talk soon.
Okay, thank you.